What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Robert. I'm a 22-year-old rental arbitrage host from the Midwest. For those of you who have been here for a while, you all know that I have been in the process of looking for properties. In my most recent video, I told you all that I was going out to find a listing, find a property, and it just so happens that I was able to meet with a real estate investor who actually owns multiple single-family homes here in Springfield, and we're working out a deal where I'm going to be using his properties moving forward. That's a really exciting thing for me. So today I'm going to City Hall applying for my permit. There are a few things that I want to talk about when it comes to regulations, and we'll do that towards the end of this video. We're going to go to City Hall, get everything taken care of there, and then we're going to swing by my current listing. Stay tuned and I hope you guys enjoy. Alright guys, we just made it to City Hall. I really enjoy taking this thing out, but we're at City Hall right now. Let's go get everything taken care of, get everything signed. Let's get this thing going. Everything went well at City Hall. I was able to submit my application, so the whole process has started now. When we pulled up to the Airbnb, I didn't actually get a chance to record myself getting over here, but here we are. This is my first single family home. We're gonna get to the details of what I was talking about with the regulation process, regulating Airbnb as a whole, so let's get right to that. For most of you who are just now getting started with hosting an Airbnb, doing short-term rentals, whether you own the property or whether you're renting the property, one of the most important issues in the space right now is regulation. I really recommend all of you that start hosting operate under the proper legal structure of your town or city. Don't avoid this, take care of this from the start. It'll be in your best interest. There's two sides to it. There's the people who are okay with it and who support this business model, and then there's people who really look down on it and they, for some reason, just can't stand Airbnb hosts. Yes, there will be hurdles, there will be obstacles for you to face, but if you face them properly and you do everything right from the beginning, you will come out on top. The whole thing with Airbnb, the way the company was able to scale to 5 million listings, it has a lot to do with how it was like a free market. Anybody could list whatever they wanted on the platform, and they did that. That's how Airbnb was able to scale to the size it is now. My goal was to get 6 single-family homes in 2019. The thing is, with Springfield, they passed those regulations. It kind of halted the scalability of what I wanted to achieve, and that's because I had no idea what the application process was going to entail. And I've shared a little bit of what went on with that whole process for this property. I'm going through the entire process once again for a different single-family home, and I just want to really get it in your minds that regulations are real, regulations are a thing, and you have to abide by the law. There's this article that I'm about to share with you guys all here. I'm here to just relay the message. Maybe you've heard of it, maybe you haven't. Here we are. This is the hotel industry mounts attack on Airbnb with house built. There are hotel lobbyists who don't like Airbnb because every single guest that books and sleeps in this property, and Airbnb listings across the country, across the world for that matter, they're taking market share away from hotels. Now they're feeling threatened by Airbnb, and they're moving really quickly to try to do something about it. Because like I said, Airbnb was able to scale to the size that it's at currently with no regulation. It's just people are ghost hosting, people are hosting in markets without abiding by the law, and quite frankly, there's no way for local regulations to actually be enforced. Especially in a town like mine. I was at City Hall earlier today, and I asked one of the guys working at the office, I was like, so how do you guys enforce these regulations? And he kind of looked at me, he's like, we really don't have enough staff to enforce them. So right now, we're just enforcing it on a complaint basis. Like I was saying, the hotel industry is very, very upset with how Airbnb is taking away from their market share at such a massive scale too. So here in this article, it says, Airbnb and other short-term rental companies are worried that new legislation in Congress would require them to police their own rental platform and crack down on users. Like I said, guys, Airbnb has 5 million plus nightly beds available on their platform. The way this number grew is anybody could list whatever they wanted. They could list an RV, they could list a tent, they could list a yurt or a single family home like this one, for example. I know cities have a lot of strict rules when it comes to how businesses are placed, and zoning is a really big deal. And like a hotel can't just buy a lot across the street and build, a hotel there, because that is a residential zone. And most of these listings have popped up because there's no restriction and nobody's enforcing the regulation. So if Airbnb is required to crack down on its own users, you better be prepared to go through whatever hoops they create. The fight between the hotel lobby and rental platforms like Airbnb is entering a new phase as lawmakers on Capitol Hill weigh legislation that threatens companies that advertise short-term rentals. That's not a good thing for us hosts. Obviously, this is a very new market. It has a lot of room to develop. And if you're in this business, this is one of the risks that you're taking on. The powerful American Hotel and Lodging Association, AHLA, and tech companies have been facing off in cities and states across the country in recent years. But that battle is now heating up in Washington as lawmakers and regulators weigh a host of measures to address home sharing services. In the House, a recently introduced bill would strip online rental websites such as Airbnb, HomeAway, and Flipkey of federal protections that for years have given the internet platforms legal immunity over content posted by third parties. Airbnb and other home sharing platforms have been operating for years with no sort of regulation. It's been like a wildfire. That's how they've grown to be valued at billions of dollars, and they have so many available listings worldwide, is because they've just kind of been growing at a rate that can't be tamed. Like, nobody can really control it. And now, as we see in this article, it is a very serious issue. And those of you guys who want to start hosting and you don't go through the regulation process, you better bet that something will happen, and you better be prepared to go through whatever Airbnb decides to do with this. Many of the owner and operators of these units are failing to comply with basic consumer safety, public accommodations, and tax requirements that the legal lodging industry has to follow in order to conduct its business. There's a very big conflict with hotels who have to go through all of these rules and regulations, and they have to be, they go through inspections. There's so many moving pieces that goes along with lodging that Airbnb hosts are completely dodging. They're flying under the radar, and that's how it's been for the past 10 years. There's much more detail to this, and I can make a video, breaking down the entire article, but for the most part, I want to make it known to you that the hotel industry is planning, they have lobbyists, they have a lot of money that they want to shut down Airbnb and short-term rentals, and they're fighting it. It's currently a battle going on Capitol Hill, and I think everybody should be prepared for an outcome that would be less favorable for Airbnb hosts and short-term rental hosts. I'm not worried about it simply because I'm operating a legal operation. Everything I'm doing is legal. It's by the city code. This is something to take into consideration, guys, as you move forward with your businesses, as you plan to expand. Do be very careful. I mean, it doesn't matter what it is. It's always best to build from the ground up with a solid foundation, and that's really the message that I'm trying to get across in this video. I am pretty excited to document my entire process going forward with my second listing. I didn't really go from A to Z with this listing, but I plan on doing that with my next property. That's what you guys should be expecting in the next coming videos. I'll be very busy setting up this listing and getting it ready. Before I go to Italy, I'm leaving for Italy October 26th, and it's gonna be 2 weeks in Europe, so we're gonna make a Europe trip out of it, me and my wife. Before then, it'll be a big challenge for me to get my listing up and going. I just wanna make sure everything is functioning properly so I can have an extra source of income while I'm in Europe traveling. I'll be making double the money I am now with this listing, and I love the market in Springfield because the rents are so cheap, and I'm able to charge a decently high price when it comes to the arbitrage of the market. Like, this is a great place to do it. Thank you guys for supporting this channel. I really appreciate each and every single one of you, and I know I'm just a small fish in the pond right now. We have Airbnb Automated with his 70,000 subscribers and his amazing operation. I respect him, and I really appreciate what he's doing for this community. I mean, if you guys want to find some really good Airbnb information other than on my channel, you guys can go watch his videos. I have a few things to get done here. I'm gonna finish setting up the beds and finish up laundry, sweeping, mopping, the works. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I will see you all in the next video.